Life is not always smooth. Everyone experiences setbacks, failures, and moments of despair. But what truly matters is not how many times we fail, but how we rise after each fall. The story of Muntazir and the lesson from nature below will help us understand that failure is not the end, but an opportunity to grow stronger. Muntazir was an intelligent, talented young man admired by everyone. From a young age, he excelled in both academics and sports, making his teachers, friends, and family believe he had a bright future ahead. However, his natural talent gradually led him to become overconfident. He started neglecting his studies, believing that success would always be within his reach without effort. He spent hours on social media, playing games, and procrastinating on important tasks. His parents advised him, "Success is never permanent, but neither is failure. The question is whether you're willing to change." Muntazir only laughed and ignored their words. But one day, reality struck him hard. When the results of an important exam were announced, he was in shock. He had failed 2 subjects. Shame, disappointment, and a sense of helplessness overwhelmed him. Friends no longer surrounded him, teachers stopped praising him, and even his parents remained silent, sensing his sorrow. Muntazir started drowning in negative thoughts, questioning himself. Can I rise again, or will I remain defeated forever? One afternoon, after a violent storm, Muntazir took a walk in the park. The cold wind brushed past him, mirroring the emptiness he felt inside. He stopped in front of a large tree that had been snapped in half. Looking at the fallen branches, he sighed, feeling that it was just like his own life, broken, defeated, and hopeless. At that moment, his grandfather slowly walked up beside him. "Do you see this tree? It was once strong, yet the storm brought it down. Do you think this is the end for it?" Muntazir replied sorrowfully, "It's broken. How can it ever grow again, Grandpa?" His grandfather smiled and gently pointed at the base of the tree. "Look closely." Muntazir bent down and was surprised to see a tiny green shoot emerging from the intact roots. "This is how life works, my dear. When we face failure, we may think everything is over, but just like this tree, as long as the roots remain, it can regrow, stronger than before." Muntazir was silent, but something inside him sparked. If a broken tree can grow again, then I too can rise and keep striving. His grandfather continued, "Have you ever heard the story of the blacksmith?" Muntazir shook his head. A blacksmith wants to forge a sharp, strong sword. He places the iron into scorching flames, then hammers it repeatedly. The iron glows red, becomes misshapen, and looks as if it will break apart. But the blacksmith doesn't stop. He continues to heat and hammer it over and over again. Muntazir listened intently. After many rounds of fire and relentless hammering, that piece of iron finally becomes a sharp, unbreakable sword. His grandfather placed a hand on his shoulder and said, "You are the same. Failures in life are like the hammer blows that forge you. If you accept them, learn from them, and never give up, you will become the strongest version of yourself." Muntazir looked up at his grandfather, determination flickering in his eyes. "Then what should I do to change, Grandpa?" His grandfather smiled. "Remember these 3 things. 1. Accept failure. Don't run from it. Don't make excuses. Face it head on and learn from your mistakes. 2. Take small steps forward. Don't rush. Start by making a study plan, focusing on your work and eliminating distractions. 3. Never give up. Success doesn't happen overnight, but if you persist, you will rise stronger than ever. From that day on, Muntazir changed. He created a strict schedule, reduced time wasted on social media, and focused on his studies. At first, it was difficult, but day by day he made steady progress. He no longer feared failure, but saw it as a valuable lesson. Finally, in his next exam, Muntazir not only passed, but achieved the highest scores in his class. He was no longer the arrogant boy he once was. He had become someone persistent, resilient, and determined. Years later, Muntazir became a successful entrepreneur and a motivational speaker, helping others overcome their struggles. Life is full of challenges, but failure is never the end. And just like a broken tree can regrow, We can all rise from our failures. Forged in fire, iron becomes a mighty sword. Through challenges, we become stronger. The most important thing is to never give up on yourself. Don't let failure define you. Have you ever fallen? Don't be afraid. Every failure is not the end, but a lesson to make you stronger. Stand up, change, and break through. Turn failure into motivation to conquer success. You are not alone on this journey. If this story inspires you, share it to spread strength and motivation to others.